All right, YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to another Pokemon collecting and investing video. Today, we are going over 10 more cards that you can grade to maximize their value. Now, we've done this video a couple of times before, and again, we are back in the Scarlet and Violet era, looking at some of the underrated cards to grade that you should do in terms of raising their value as much as possible if you are someone that wants to consider grading. Now, there's usually a pretty safe rule of thumb that about $100 to $200 worth of value can be added onto a card. However, some of these cards can 5x, 10x that you may not have been aware of because they're not some of the top cards in certain sets. Now, that doesn't mean to say that there aren't some top cards in this list. There is a couple. However, as we go through this list, you may see some lower cards like illustration rares and things like that that are 10xing their money when you grade them. So we're going to jump into the video right now. Make sure you are subscribed if you're not already, and leave a thumbs up on this video if you do enjoy it. Again, when we hit 5,000 subscribers, we are going to be doing another giveaway. So I'd love to see all of you guys joining the channel. And if you want to join the Discord server, it is linked down below. We will begin to do giveaways down there too very, very soon. Now, with that said, let's jump into our first card, starting with some more recent card options. This is from Journey Together. This is the NSI Ram. Now, I've done a couple of like cheaper cards as well, because if you are new to grading, this is a great entry point to start at. You can use some of these cheaper cards that have bigger gains on them, and that can be kind of your way of testing the waters without having to spend a ton of money on certain cards to acquire them before even sending them off to grading. So NSI Ram is currently at a market price of $12.81 for a near mint copy. Now, this isn't the stamped one from the booster box. This is the regular illustration rare from inside the pack. So you can pull this out of a random pack. And if you were to send it off to grading, having a look at the recent solds. Now, you do have a few here on top with the stamp. However, looking at the non-stamped version, you've got a $260 sale there. You had a $230 that was best offer accepted. Now, you're going to see more of these stamped ones because they do just come on the booster box. But here's another one for $300, best offer accepted. And usually when you see best offer accepted, it's within, mostly people do within $30 to $40 of that price. This one was $280. So I would say if I had to guess, it's probably anywhere from like the $240, $230 mark up to like 300-ish. Like, it's hard to know with these best offer ones. But in saying that, you know, it seems like that's kind of the ballpark for this card. And then again, if you're looking at the box topper one and you want to look at that, look at the prices on this. $300, $204 on an auction. This one was $260. That's without it. But then you go down here, you've got a $230 best offer. You got $320 on a stamped one, $225 on a stamped one, $251 on a stamped one. And these are like May 11th and more recent even. Some of these are like May 16th. So they're only a couple of days old, these sales, showing that not just the box topper, but the one from inside the pack as well can both end up giving you a good amount of profit when grading. Next up is another one from Journey Together. It is the Waylord, an $18 card right now, but graded in a PSA 10, 230, 197, 212, 250. So you're looking anywhere sort of between, you know, 200, 197 being like the low, from like 200-ish up to 250 in a PSA 10. So that's insane amounts of gains for something that's coming from a $18 card. And one thing to keep in mind as well, when you are grading, you've obviously got grading costs. I know it ends up, you know, depending what tier, it can be anywhere from like $15 to $50 per card. And then if it does hit a PSA 10 and the value is exponentially higher, you can be upcharged for it grading so high and being worth so much. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you check out PSA's website for how they determine all of these things as well. But jumping into another one, Articuno, and this was one that shocked me. I pulled this in like one of my first packs of Journey Together. It was really the only hit in Journey Together that I really, really wanted because I think the artwork is stunning. It's a $26 card right now. However, when graded in a PSA 10, you are looking at 240, 300, 295, 305, 315, 300. So pretty consistent around about the $300 mark, 325 on this one when graded in a PSA 10. So for what is a $26 card to be pulling $300 off a PSA 10, you're pretty much 10xing your money, which is why I've put that in the title of this video. The Articuno shocked me. It is a nice card. It's a gorgeous card. I get that. But I didn't think you'd be 10xing the raw price from getting a PSA 10. So really interesting to see that there. Jumping back a little bit, looking at the Gastly from Temporal Forces. This one near mint is $38. So again, a little bit more expensive than the last couple. But in a PSA 10, $245, $250, $255, $240, $250. So pretty steady and stable at around the $240 to $250 mark. There are a few outliers, like this auction only got up to $223, but a lot of the buy it now ones are sort of at $240 to $250 kind of mark, and rightly so. Like the Gastly is a really nice artwork too. And if you notice, like something that goes on with these grading cards there's a combination of like being a relatively popular Pokemon, having a pretty nice artwork, and then grading in a PSA 10, it's going to be a key factor for some of these prices that these cards are pulling. Now, here's another one. I'm going to change this over to near mint because TCG didn't do it for me. $41 right now, so $41.93 for the Tyranitar from Paldea Evolved. Now, if you aren't aware, Tyranitar and Paldea Evolved in general, I guess, is a really hard card to grade. Due to the poor print quality from Paldea Evolved previously. It's the same reason that the Magikarp is so expensive in a PSA 10, because it is extremely hard to grade. A lot of them are off center. A lot of them have print lines or some sort of, edge wear coming straight out of the packs that they have, causing them to drop from a PSA 10 to a PSA 9. So Tyranitar at $40. If you can find a good copy of it, you're looking at $400 in a PSA 10. So 409, 389, 379, 420, 380, 415. So sitting right between sort of 375 and 420. So I'd say market on that is around about 390, 400, which, for a card that is only $40, again, 10xing your money, which is absolutely insane. The next one, a controversial card to say the least, is the Drowsy from SV Base. Finally back down to a normal price for an illustration rare at $29. This card was ridiculous. Like it hit, I think like $80 at one point. The high, I don't even know where the high was. Here, $73 back in Feb, which it's a cool art, don't get me wrong, and it's a original 151 Pokemon. But this isn't an $80 card, not even in the slightest. However, again, Scarlet Violet Base had a similar problem to Paldea Evolved, where the print quality was not real great, leading to these super high prices in a PSA 10. So even though the Drowsy is like a $30 card, your PSA 10 price is $350, $340, $330, $370, $330, and these are all this month. These are all in May. So again, it just goes to show that there is a premium for these harder to grade cards coming out in a PSA 10. Next up, Mewtwo for 151, and I could have put the Mew promo card in here as well. They're kind of both similar in this regard. $14 right now if you buy a raw copy. PSA 10, you're looking at like $225, $184, $175, $195. So around $170 to $190, I would say, for market on this. And the reason I put this in here, it might not seem like a super high price. However, in saying that, you're still 10xing your money, and on top of that, you're actually got like a cool promo card, like a really sick promo card with a super popular legendary Pokemon. So you're ticking a lot of boxes. It's from the original 151 Pokemon that were ever created. It's a fan favorite. Like, this card just has so much going for it. I think it's super undervalued still, because this card in 5 years time, when we get another Pokemon boom, everyone is going to want this. Everyone is going to want the Mew promo card. Everyone is going to want the Mewtwo. Everyone's going to want the Charizard from 151, which is coming up next. These big banger cards are going to be heavily sought after. Mark my words. Now, Charizard obviously had to be on this list. Number 151, from set 151, $210 to purchase right now. If you're lucky enough like me, I have fortunately pulled 2 of these from booster packs. However, only one was probably gradable, which I'm getting ready to send off very soon. But $210 if you want a raw copy of this on market price. However, It's an expensive card, but it comes with an expensive PSA 10 as well. 720, 700, 680, 700, 620. So someone got a steal there. 720, 735, 705, 715. These are all in the last 3 days. 715, 730, 715, 800 nearly, 750. So again, you're looking 7 to 750 for a PSA 10 on the Charizard, which is crazy money, especially if you're able to score a couple of them. Now, the reason I'm always talking about like the value in these PSA 10s, yes, it costs money to grade them. Yes, it costs money to buy the cards. However, if you're looking to like build out a collection, this is a great way to go about building out your own personal collection. You know, you can buy these cards like the Charizard, for example, at 220. If you have a good eye for a PSA 10 and you grade it, you've then made $500 in profit when you sell the PSA 10 version of the Charizard. You can then reinvest that, buy, say, 2 Charizards, for example, grade them. If they get a 10, you've then made, you know, $1,000 in profit. That $1,000 can then go to purchasing, you know, other cards that you want, or reinvesting into more grading plays and just basically building up your portfolio of graded cards to sell on for a bigger margin and a bigger profit in the future. So it's a really good way not just to build your own personal collection, but a lot of people love content around it. So if you've ever planned on making content, that's a good thing to do as well. But there are just so many great uses for grading. However, you do have to really know what to look for. And if you guys want a video basically on what to look for when grading, I can definitely make that as well. Just let me know down in the comments, but there is a ton of them on YouTube already. So really let me know if you want to see that, and I'll make one for you guys. Now, Surging Sparks Latias and the Surging Sparks Latios. So Latias right now is 176. PSA 10 pulling in around about the $400 mark. So 420, 450, 380, 450, 415, 440. So consistently selling around about the $400 mark. And then the Latios, which is a $30 card, selling consistently around 150 bucks. This is on here because I think this is stupidly underrated as well, just like the Mewtwo. The fact that for 150 bucks, you can buy the Latios PSA 10. It's a legendary, it's a popular Pokemon. You look at cards in the past from Latias and Latios, they're always really sought after. And I just think no one is really paying attention to this card right now. So if you can get it now while it's cheap, again, come the next couple of years when Surging Sparks is way out of rotation and people are no longer available to get it, and it's hard to find the Latios, then this is going to be a sought after card as well. So these are just some ideas for you guys. These are 10 options for grading plays. There are so many more. So make sure you let me know if you know of any really good grading plays that we can add to the next video. And if there are any that you're not sure on, comment them down below as well, because I can always bring them up in future content for all of you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this one. It's been a little while since we've done this kind of video, but if you did, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And with that said, I will leave you guys until the next video, and I will catch you next time.